Mbonisi, the word budget sounds like a lot of work to some people, and to others it just sounds like an easy answer to solving our financial challenges. As a wealth advisor, why would you say is it important to have a household or personal budget?
In short, budgeting is very important because it helps control your spending, and also it helps track your expenses. And then additional to that, it helps you save. There's also other important aspects why you should continue with budgeting, which is it also helps you to track your financial goals. And
so what you're saying is that a budget really provides you with a very good base, a framework within which you would do financial planning.
Yes, absolutely. And it also helps you in terms of not being financially overwhelmed. And last but not least, it also allows you to prepare for an emergency. So by planning, you can actually put away money that you can save for emergency purposes.
I think, so now we know why it's important to have a budget. The next question would be, but how do I go about putting a budget together? Or do you have some pointers in terms of where do you start?
Yes. So before we even start constructing a budget, what is important is to first gather the financial statements that will assist you in compiling the budget.
What would that typically be? Would it be like your bank accounts?
So it's your bank statements, it's also your utility bills, and also your credit card bills. Yeah.
Because that is very rich in information, and that you don't have to really think about everything. It's all there in terms of what you're actually spending your money on, given the electronic world we live in, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then the next step, I suppose, will be to calculate all the total income that you earn, especially for people that have got multiple sources of income. And then next step that will be to draft your monthly expenses and go through your things like the statements and see things like what you're spending on entertainment, what you're spending on your mortgage.
It's about there's two things, like your fixed kind of spending that you will always do every month, and then there's your variable spending, the things that changes from month to month, right?
Yes. So your fixed spending will be things that are sort of mandatory. They won't change from month to month, and then your variable will be things that will change from month to month, and we're talking about things like your entertainment expenses, and also
fuel,
fuel as well. And then once you've compiled your income and your expenses, you then have to tally them and then see if you've got a surplus or a deficit in your budget. If you've got a surplus, that's a good starting point.
Because then you can save, right?
Yes,
in that situation.
Yes, absolutely. You can then use some of that money to put towards retirement savings or pay off your debt. And then if you've got a shortfall, then what you can do is maybe look at the variable expenses and maybe look at what you can cut from those variable expenses.
Also your lifestyle expenses, which maybe is more of a kind of like a luxury than a necessity, right?
Absolutely. It's all about changing your lifestyle as well.
So it's wonderful that we have a budget, but life happens. And sometimes there's expenses that we didn't budget for, and we need money immediately. What are the things we can do to try and just make sure that, to cover those kind of expenses as unexpected events?
It is always important that you plan for your emergencies, because if you don't do that, life eventually happens and you find out that you've got emergency costs that you have to pay for. So it's always important that you have on your monthly budget an amount that you save towards emergencies.
And how much would you typically need in that emergency fund? How do I know if I've got enough?
So in general, most advisors say 3 to 6 months worth of income, but some people can put more towards that. It depends on what will give you a peace of mind.
And then I suppose the last question from our side would be then, where do you actually invest? In what form do you save that money? Because obviously you can't take risk if you need it at any point in time.
So the best place to put your emergency fund money is in an income fund that's got high yields, something that's easy to access.
So money market funds, would that also be?
Money market funds, and if you're looking for Sasfin solutions, we've got a Sasfin high yield fund, and also we've got the Sasfin BCI income fund as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
those pointers.
Yeah.
Really believe it will help people to make sure that they have their financial planning on track.
Thank you.